Forward. Backward never. In the struggle for our members, there is victory. Are people united? You are talking like defeated people. Are people united? Are people united? Thank you, comrades. Comrade Ayuba. Great Nigerian worker, ever conscious Nigerian worker, ever vibrant Nigerian worker, great Nigerian students, ever conscious Nigerian students, great Nigerian women, ever conscious Nigerian women. Comrades, I want to once again welcome all of you. Importantly, our allies in the struggle from the civil society. I can see our very erudite comrade here, Comrade Ene, always with us on the struggle, the country director of Action AIDS. I can see also our leadership here, importantly all the unions in the education sector, but also all our affiliates. 50 of them are here represented. But importantly, you, the foot soldiers. And that's why I said Nigerian workers are conscious. We will reset this country. We will make sure that our leaders hear our voice. The reason we are here today, comrades, is something that is known to every Nigerian. The children of the working class, the children of the less privileged, have been at home for the past 5 months, and nobody cares.
Yes.
No reason is good enough for the children of the working class and the poor to be at home for 1 day, whereas their children are graduating daily from Nigerian universities,
abroad, private
ones, and abroad.
Yes.
And they have the audacity to post them on social media so that we can see. Already we are divided into class.
Big insult.
The class of those ruling elites and the class of we, the masses. Comrades, it is a very serious matter. Once you deny citizens education, you have denied them everything. Because the difference between life and death is the education that we have. The issues have been well inundated, and therefore there is no justification anywhere to justify this situation. That is why we are here. This is just the beginning of this struggle, and therefore we must be ready. If they are able to hear the reasoning of wisdom and respond effectively and promptly to resolve this issue, good for them. But if they are not ready, are we going to be tired?
No!
Are you going to be tired? No! Because already our children have been alienated completely. I was told over 10 million children in Nigerian public institutions, including 3 sets that are even hanging in the balance because their admission have not been sorted out.
Exactly.
3 sets.
Yes.
Their life and everything is hanging in the balance. Because there was no admission for 3 sets.
Yes, sir.
This is the situation. Comrade, we must be angry because this is not what we bargained for.
Yes,
we bargained for credible leadership. We bargained for good government that will listen to us. Because democracy is all about the people.
Yes.
It is people first in democracy. And you cannot talk of people without quality education.
Yes.
So, comrades, that is why we are here. We will continue from here, but our leadership will also speak to us along the line, because we want to make sure that we're able to reach the National Assembly in good time, so that we can deliver your message.
Exactly.
But the point must be made very clear. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
And all of you must be ready,
yes,
to salvage the country and salvage the education sector at all levels.
Yes, sir.
because all the unions, including the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, colleges of education, of universities, of non-academic, of senior staff, all of them have issues, and those issues are straightforward. Some of them are not even monetary, they are about policy issues. But yet, our leaders cannot listen to fix those issues. It has been promise upon promises, and those promises have not been kept. We are tired. Are you tired?
No. We are tired.
If they are not tired, we cannot also be tired. Yes. But we are tired of their antics. Yes. That antics cannot fly again. Exactly. We must take our destinies in our own hand. Yes. We must take our destinies in our hand. And that of our children is very important and fundamental. And that is why we are cautious. I'm happy. They were saying that we are a threat to security. Are workers a threat to security? No. Are we a security threat? No. We are an asset to the country. Yes. It is their action that is actually a security threat. Yes, we have faces. Everywhere that the protests have taken place, it has been peaceful. And therefore, we are not a threat, but their action is a threat to democracy. Yes. And we must reiterate, where leaders are afraid of people coming together, especially organizations like Labour, to hear their views and give perspective, it means the government is not actually for the people. Yes. Because elsewhere around the world, even in the mix of public emergency like COVID, people are still protesting. Yes. Nobody's right to protest have been alienated. Yes, nobody's right to protest have been challenged. And comrades, we must realize that fact. No threat, no intimidation. Yes, in fact, I was saying yesterday that some of them in this current dispensation, political elites also protested. Yes. They are on the streets with us. Yes. Some of them join us. Yes. Very soon, the documentary of NLC at 40 will be launched. And we have pictures of some of them there joining NLC in a similar rally to say that we are a very credible organization and that we need to reset the country. So we are resetting the country to make sure that our leaders do what is right. Yes. I want to salute all our unions. Thank you. For being on strike for 5 months, some 3 months. Yes. Their salary has been stopped. It is criminal to stop the salary of a worker whose only fault is to demand that a collective bargaining agreement validly signed should be respected. In other climes, it is even the workers that will actually deploy no pay, no work. But shamelessly, they deploy no pay, no work, no pay. Nowhere in the law that I know under the ILO conventions that guides industrial relations globally do you have such a draconian law. We thank governors because some of them spoke yesterday to say that they will not stop the salary of their state university workers. We commend them, and we commend those governors that came out openly also to support what is happening, because they realize leadership is about taking responsibility. Yes. Not about complaining. Leadership is about finding solution, not about giving excuse. We are tired of excuse. We are tired of lamentation. Yes. We want solution. Yes. We want the issues to be fixed. Yes. That is why we are here, comrades. And therefore, we must be ready. We must be ready. This is just the first phase. The second phase, which we are aware, is the 3-day national strike. I hope they will be reasonable. I hope they will listen, because we have sent the message very clear and loud that we will not allow few political elites to destroy the future of millions of Nigerian youth. Most of them that are holding office today benefited from free quality public university education. True of us. Some of them, they are from poor families, from poor background. They tried to school, but yet they benefited from scholarships. They benefited from bursary. They benefited from quality public education. Today, they are destroying the very ladder they use in arriving at where they are. Shame to them. Shame to them. Shame to them. I have checked this morning the records around the world of how intellectuals are actually treated, how university systems are run, and it will amaze you. In fact, I just Googled what is the average salary of a professor. Even within the context of Africa, nowhere have I seen less than $2,000. But today, the highest paid professor in Nigeria is less than even $600. Because of the fact that our currency had been on a free fall. The economy is about to collapse. That is the fact. And therefore it's not acceptable. In fact, in other climes, if you see the university system, in fact, it will amaze you. Because teaching and learning facilities are there and they have been improved. Library is of standard and everybody takes his responsibility fully. But here, workers cannot even feed their family. A loaf of bread that used to be 300 naira is now 1,000 naira. 1,000. It's 1,000 naira. And therefore, with your 30,000 naira, you can only buy 30 loaves of bread per day. There is hardship, and everybody knows. They all know. It's only the political elites that are insulated from the hardship that Nigerians are passing through. Yes. So, comrade, it's a wake-up call. Yes. It's a clarion call. Yes. It's a very patriotic call. Yes. We don't want the country to collapse on us. Yes. And therefore, that is why we are waging pillars that can actually sustain this country. Yes. Because it's quality education that will sustain this country. Yes. If we deny our children quality education, they will become menace to the society. Yes. And all of us will be sleeping with our eyes open. That is the reality, comrades. And that is what is happening around the world. Yes. So it's a wake-up call. We are going to start our march. Every union behind the leadership. We must take instruction because we are orderly and therefore we want to deliver the message. So once again, comrades, I thank all our leadership. I thank all of you, our foot soldiers, that anytime we call, you will always respond. We don't pay. It's only in politics that they have to hire people. We don't hire people. They know that. And that's why I'm happy every worker has his own identity. Either with the cap that indicates his union, or on the shirts that indicate where he's coming from. Yes. I want to once again salute all our 4 unions in the university sector, all our other unions in the polytechnics and colleges of education, because the issues are similar. Yes. The issues are the same. Yes. And therefore, education is collapsing, and we must respond to it effectively. Solidarity, solidarity. So as we go forward, we'll take some of the addresses so that we can be able to save some time and also deliver your messages. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, comrades, the time has come for us to begin to rub minds on why we are here. Because when it becomes shocking that the person who is supposed to be communicating and informing Nigerians with our money does not know why we are here, then we have to explain to the world why we are here. For those that have been misinformed by Lai Mohammed, you will get the clarity of why we are here today. For those that don't understand the pain of not being paid salary for over 5 months, you will understand why we are here. For those who don't understand the pain of having your children look at you helplessly, you will soon know why we are here. For those who prefer imported facilities to homegrown versions, their belly will run while we are here. Because you cannot be promoting IPs when we have indigenous technology. Toby Amusa didn't win world record by eating spaghetti. He said, we're going eating Jebu bread. So, comrades, the nice thing is they can't accuse us of lack of knowledge. Exactly. Because here now we are talking about tertiary education sector in Nigeria. So if our tertiary personalities know nothing, then our leaders must be coming from LL. I don't want to believe the rumors making the rounds where they are coming from. So at this juncture, we'll start with the Prof. President of ASUU. When he's done, I'll give you Nigeria Jaga Jaga to seal up his presentation. Then we'll hear from the President of SSANU, who will seal up his own with rule us well. We'll hear that of NASU, ASUP, COEASU, SANU. All our tertiary education unions are present here, and none has any palatable story to tell. So I plead with you, if you are hypertensive, have your drug close by. Because the stories you hear will break your heart. On this note, may I humbly invite the President of ASUU, Comrade Professor Ososoke, to give us just a summarized version of what they have gone through. Comrade President.
Solidarity! Solidarity! Forward ever! Forward ever! Thank you, dear comrades from NLC and all the unions that are here today. It's really a pleasure. I think the first time we're having this type of solidarity in the country, and we should keep it going to rescue our nation from the hand of a very few people who are controlling our destiny. We must rescue Nigeria and bring it back to how it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And that's why we are here, and we must continue in this struggle. Let them know that they don't have dominance over us. On that note, I will just talk about two major issues. The first is their agreement. You see, in the 60s, I was saying yesterday, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, when you enter a typical Nigerian universities, you see lecturers from multiple countries. That is the idea of university. University is universal. It's not about a locality. You lecturer from all over the world. Any country can be teaching in Nigerian universities. When you go around, you see students from all over the world studying in Nigerian universities. You are a child of a driver. You sit on the same table with the child of a governor, a child of a minister, child of a president. You eat from the same cafeteria with them. You live in the same hostel, share the same bed. But today, what do you have? The class has divided. So that is the major reason why we started this struggle in the 80s. In the 90s, it continued up to now. And this obstinacy by the government continued. I think that's why we are where we are today. So one of the reasons, today when you go around our universities, it has even gone below national to tribal. If you enter a typical university in Abia State, for example, 80% of lecturers from Abia. You enter a university in Sokoto, 80% of lecturers from Sokoto. Is that what a university should be? No. And that is why we need this struggle. So that you enter a university, you don't ask who you are. Yes. You know people, you see lecturers from all over the world teaching in a university. So for this struggle, in 2009, we had an agreement with government on the issues that would have resolved it. And that agreement resulted that we told the government that you need not less than 1.3 trillion naira to refurbish all federal universities. But government said no. What you are saying is not correct. Let me send a team around the universities, and they did. You know the assessment team. They went around all the universities, and I can tell you what they reported, and I think we have it all over the place, is damning. In one of the first generation university, they used stove as Bunsen burner in the chemistry lab. We enter a university where lecturers are students are having lecture in open stadium like this, having lectures. We enter a university where we went to the hostel, we to a special hostel, a female hostel. There were 16 students in one room, 16. And each of them had a stove, which means the health implication. And by the time we came back, that team was led by the present chairman of INEC. And they gave a report to the Federal Executive Council, and it was damning. And they agreed they will put the 1.3 trillion naira into Nigerian universities. In 2013, we went on strike again to force them to do it. And they agreed that they will spread this payment over 6 years. And they signed by giving 220 billion naira every year to the Nigerian universities.
If they had been done, today we would have gone far behind where we are today. But what happened? They did nothing. So that's one of the issues why we're on strike, the revitalization fund. Then we have the issue of academic allowance. You can check the record. When you go out to other part of the world where things are working, it's a university. The ratio of academic staff to students is 1 to 4. For every one academic staff, you have 4 students, 5 students, 6 students. By NLC regulation, you should have 1 academic staff to 9 students in the medical sciences and 15 students in the humanities. So you should not have more than 1 academic staff to 16, 15 students. But when you go to our university, some university is 1 to 100, 1 to 50, which means you are doing extra work. And we do agree that for those who are doing extra work, they should be paid an allowance. And that was the origin of the an allowance, which we also refused to pay, among other things. So when we negotiated with 2000, we didn't start negotiating in 2017, when Babala King was appointed as the government chairman. And we were moving well until he came in with this theory that every student, commercializing universities, that every student must pay a fee of 1 million naira every year. Every student, whether you are from the poor, will pay school fees of 1 million naira every year. And we ask them, how would a student who's paying 30,000 a month pay school fees of 1 million? Say, don't worry, we will create a bank for them where we go and collect loan of 1 million. So that by the time you are graduating, you are owing 6 million. And we said, we used to do our investigation. I found out that they will open a bank that they already done that before. And the bank is will take 1 year to collapse. They swindled the money and the bank collapsed. Education bank, it was established here and it collapsed. And we also look at some countries where they have this policy of going to take money from bank. Some of the students committed suicide. Because you are graduating, you own 20, it takes you 10 years to get a job and you are owing 20 million. How are you going to live such life? So we disagree. That illegal on until you know what happened to Balaki in Unilag, and he was thrown away. And they brought Buzali Jubri to negotiate on behalf of government. And the first question we asked them, do you have the permission, are you representing the government, do you have the mandate to negotiate? And they said yes. And we finished that negotiation in May 2021. And they said, give us time. Let us go back to our principal, which is the government, to give them permission to sign. I would say, fine. We also went back to our people. It took 1 year before they came back to us. We started this strike before they came back that they did not agree. And then they set up another one. This one headed by Nimi Briggs. And when they came to us, we told them, we have finished renegotiation. Give a look, if you look at what we negotiated, if there's any issue, raise it so that we can discuss it. Don't say we will start all over because we have finished. We are meeting with government. And they went first and got all, they said they have met with all the ministries, salary and wages, labor, finance, and based on that, they now have the mandate. We said, fine. So we met and they came with what they said is their minimum. And by the time we looked through it, we accepted. After a little modification, then we accepted. And that was on June 16, 2022. It's more than 1 month now, they've not come back. Then on the issue of UTAS, it started in 2014 when Comrade Nasir Ifade was the president of ASUU. It started then. At that time, when they came with IPs, we told them it cannot work in a university for so many reasons. One is that university is unique. There's a law, University Miscellaneous Act, that states that any circular from the ministry, if you go to university, it's not applicable. It's there and it's all over the world. I will challenge them. Mention one university in the whole world where lecturer salaries are paid from a Accountant General office. There's none. I will say obey the law of the country that says you cannot. Our employer is the governing council. Therefore, those who will pay our salary should be governing council. And the law specifies very well that the council managing the finances of the university. But to control the council, the government every 5 years will set a visitation panel to the university to look at infringement. If there is, you punish them. But we had to go on strike after 11 years before the government set up that panel. The panel was set up in February last year, till now the report is not out. So that is the problem we have with that. So in 2014, when they brought it, we said, look, universities also have peculiarities that cannot be captured by IPs. So when we finish negotiating, those people then, they agree with us that what we are saying is correct. And that we should set up a committee made up of all the unions and government to develop a platform we can use for universities. The data are there. And we send our own team, some very high level academic staff, told the committee, government never called us back again. 2014 until 2017, they called us again and said you must use IPs. And we said no, nothing has changed. You have not changed the law. There's nothing that has changed in IPs. And they demonstrated some beautiful spreadsheet to us that you can pay, you pay allowances, you pay everything. As a union, we said, what you are presenting it has no meaning. It will not work. We will not join. So at the end of the day, we insisted that we are not joining, and we did not join, and we were punished. We were in 2020. Our salary was held for 9 months for not joining IPs. This country, I also coincided with the period of COVID-19. So during COVID-19, they held our time for 9 months and we're still managing our family, because once you introduce that IPs to the system, if ASUU didn't protest today, all this fraud going on would have just been normal. What is IPs? You need to know that IPs was conceived by World Bank and given to the government, for which government is paying heavily. And you know why they are struggling to put many people? They had the option of signing a comprehensive system for a country. You pay a fixed amount in a year. You also have the option of payment per person. Instead of paying as a country, you pay per person. The option of payment per person. So that the more people you put in, the more money you pay. And that's what problem you're having today. The more you put in, the more you pay. And those who enjoy it are in this country. And we have been vindicated by what happened to the accountant general of the country, who have been found out that only one man, from one allegation, thank God he's in court and he's in prison. Kuje prison. You know Kuje? That he stole 170 billion naira. One person. One. In a country like Nigeria, where people earn 30,000 a month, where pensioners earn 3,000 a month and they are not paid. So that is it. So we said we are not joining. So in 2020, part of the agreement we had to call out that strike in 2020 was that government will accept UTAS if we can develop it within a period and test it. We said fine. It took us 3 months to develop it with our own resources. 3 months. Homegrown. Cover everything. And we also said that whatever we are developing should not also reside in the ministry. It should reside in the agency that is what do you call it? That is like NUC. And we all agree that NUC will be the one that will give permission to VC. And once permission agree to VC, because the VC that will maintain your salary preparation and everything and then payment. And that was what we agreed on. It took us 3 months and I had to prepare that to get that task ready. And they said we should send it for a test. We said fine. But we asked them one question. IPs came in 2006. He came to this country. Has he ever been tested? No. They said no. So if you didn't test the one that came from outside, what do you want to test the one produced by your intellectuals? They didn't have answer. That time when he came in, there was no provision for testing. So if there was no provision, you are not doing tests. Why not you test it? Oh. They refused. So they tested that particular solution, and by their own, we went on with them. It's cost 77%. Oh, which is good. They say it must be subjected. When we have put that, they say it must be subjected to end user test. We said fine. They brought the VCs. It was presented to them. They accepted. They brought our colleagues in bursary and registry to a meeting, and they were asked to score, and they scored the program 94%, and I should be deployed immediately. We had the report. But government still went on air that it failed. And we met again, said let's go for a third time. This one is to share all the 3 solutions, which we agreed. Because our interest for this country is more than individual. And they have suggested it to test more than 2 weeks ago. We have not seen the result. We still have not seen the result. But when they now came to test IPs, they brought another solution. We will see when we meet with the government when they come. They didn't bring IPs this time. They brought another thing. You have been using IPs 2006. Let's test it now. You brought another thing. They say it's homegrown. So that is the deceit in the system. So that is the reason we have. We are insisting that UTAS must be implemented. Yes. We also had meeting with our colleagues here, and we agreed that instead of all fighting ourselves and looking for the government, we need to unite. And see how we need to unite and see how we can say it is what we develop and IPs. Not UPS, let people develop together and then bring it together, look at the two, see how we can harmonize, and say, having this one is the one of the university against the one of the IPs. I think that's what we are working on that. Yes. So what am I saying different? That as of today, the universities are shut down, not because of ASUU. And when we started this strike, in other clime, what the government will do when you start a strike, you apprehend it immediately. But we started the strike, we were supposed to start the strike in November 2021. But NIREC, Nigerian Inter-Regional Council, stepped in and said they want to intervene. We said, fine, we'll give you 3 months. So they started. And at the end of 3 months, nothing happened. We started the strike. First 4-week rollover strike, nothing happened. The second one, your man that you saw the picture somewhere, the priest. The first thing he did was to go and stop salary. Instead of resolving problem, you thinking that when you stop salary with 2 or 3 months, we will come begging. But with the resilience of my member, if they like, let them keep this strike for 2 years. We must change Nigerian university system, even no matter what happens. This system must change. Nigeria must change, and Nigeria will change from the outcome of university. When you go around the countries, the world, Nigerians are doing so well intellectually, but you come home, the environment is such a way that there is no way you can perform. The laboratories are rotting, no training, nothing. So that is the problem we are having, and we must change this system. So on that note, I want to thank NLC again. I want to thank other labor unions. I want to thank our students who are making patience. Like I told them, you are fighting for the future. Forget about 1 or 2 years. You are fighting for your children. You are fighting for your great-grandchildren. So that in future, they will say, our daddy's fight, which is the student today, is what are giving us this environment that I can see with the child side of the minister, see with the son of a governor in a lecture theater. Thank you very much, and God bless all of us. Solidarity! Solidarity! I have 3 bosa for ASUU president.
Bosa! 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 For 51 months, for 55 months, then you know what we are talking about. Investment in education is the greatest investment in any nation. If you are investing in education, you are not doing anybody a favor. You are investing in the human capital for your economy. You are preparing the future of the land. What is happening now is a failure of a generation. It's not we that have failed, but the leaders have failed. It's a failure of a generation. And so I want to call on the president of Nigeria, who is always shocked, seeming as if he's not in this land, who is always shocked when there is insecurity, who is shocked when children are at home. I want to tell you something. Most of the universities in the world are being maintained by the money of you and I because of the looted funds that they have taken from my treasury. Why would you take the ladder off from those who prepared you? The children of the poor, most of those who are in government today, were products of the public universities. We have the greatest universities, the greatest facilities in the world. And now we are letting it go. Before I left school, and I can tell you that I know what this is, because I was once a student union president. I know what it is to be 101. I know what it is to be 000. They remove subsidies, they call so-called subsidies. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress is here. You say you are removing subsidies. What are you talking about as a subsidy? I was in the Nigerian Labour Congress. I started my work life from the Nigerian Labour Congress. There is nothing like subsidy. What kind of government is it that has 4 refineries, gigantic refineries, and you are not refining? You go to Niger and you refine and you bring it back. And you tell the people of Nigeria that you are indeed paying subsidies. They are paying it to themselves. I want to remind everybody, I want to remind the politicians that there is only one way out of this country. There is only one way out of this life. That nobody is living this world alive. They are looting the economy and you are building streets, not even houses. And you are building it when you die. You simply go under 6 feet. The politicians are hurting the world. They are looting the economy and denying so many Nigerians of the things that they need to have. Solidarity, our children are at home. Our children are at home. I know what it is to be a woman, as a mother, and also so many girls within these months that are at home. Many girls have got have become very vulnerable. both the male and female, before they get back now, women are pregnant and so on and so forth. You know, so many girls. We have insecurity, gender-based violence that is going on. Nobody is saying something. If you cannot govern, resign. Resign from this country. Resign.
Comrades, we are going to the National Assembly, but we need to get instructed on how things work there. And no better person to do that before we move than our own distinguished Senator, the workers, greatest Nigerian lecturers, fellow greatest students, fellow compatriots. I must first start by expressing my commendation to the President and the Nigerian Labour Congress. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria where the Nigerian Labour Congress has openly solidarized with the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the Nigerian students. This solidarity is unprecedented in the history of Nigeria. We are here to save the future of our country. We are here to save the future of public education. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a beneficiary and a product of public education. The Vice President is a beneficiary and product of public education. The governors of the 36 states were beneficiaries and products of public education. The senators, the members, House of Reps and state assemblies and local government chairmen and people holding position of authority in Nigeria today were product and beneficiaries of public education. Why do you want to destroy what has made you what you are today? It is shameful that a nation with a budget of 16 trillion naira cannot allocate a substantial sum to reactivate, to fund our university system. Where we are today, we are here because our educational system has failed. Why should our leaders, who have been products of these services, now turn back against Nigerians? These protests should be the beginning of a mass action to force the political establishment, the bourgeoisie, to do what is necessary, and that is to fund public education as much as they are funding the education of their children and grandchildren. We have seen how public funds are being spent in billions during weddings and birthday ceremonies. It is not true for anybody to say there is no enough money for our university. If the son and the daughter of the poor cannot go to school, the son and the daughter of the rich cannot live in peace. I and all men of conscience in Nigeria should continue to identify with the NLC, with ASUU, with the non-academic staff union, with all affiliate staff unions, to ensure that pressure is not just built but is sustained until the demands of our university system is made. Thank you very much. These three votes are for Senator Sani. It is my singular honor to welcome with a thunderous round of applause three Bosa for President of SSANU to give us his 3 minutes inspirational talk to the House. Comrade President, sir. Greetings, Nigerian workers! Greetings, Nigerian workers! Greetings,
our global president, President Ayuba, our most distinguished comrades that are here. We have heard it from the president of ASUU. The story is long, but we shall try to trim it. We must try to tell you why we have to come this long and this far. Aside from the issues that he has raised, you need to understand that the university is a community. It has in it the teaching, the non-teaching, and our greatest stakeholders, the students. There cannot be any university to function effectively without our students. And our students require the best. And what they need is that they should be taught, they should be guided to undertake researches, and the university also extends community services. If you look at these three core mandates, these are the things that the university staff do. Now, beyond the issue of welfare of staff, you also need to understand that if you go to any university community, there are people who undertake businesses. You can just imagine the number of taxi drivers that have become poorer. You can imagine the number of caterers who run our cafeterias, how they have become poorer, including even the Yarrow boys that get what to eat within the university community. Now, this is 13 years between 2009 and now. We've had agreements. The 4 university-based unions, we've signed agreements. And in that agreement, there is a portion where it says that after every 3 years, we must renegotiate. We must come back to the table. We must look at issues as they are. Now, 13 years down the ladder, it is one story to another. For us, we are not even as lucky as our big brother ASUU. All the previous committees that have had to discuss with these committees, NASU, SSANU, and NAT, never had the opportunity of dialoguing, of bargaining, of discussing and renegotiating with these committees, because we've been sidelined. We've been treated like second-hand clothing. We have been sent to the backgrounds. This is not the time to take it. This is democracy. Democracy is about the people. Democracy is about the power of the people. And therefore, we must make sure that government stand on its feet. These agreements must be respected. Universities must take a universal look. We must have the best of our brains. We must have our teachers, lecturers, members of staff, academic, non-academic, junior, senior, security. Everybody is important. And therefore, government must rise up to the occasion. Government must respect its signed agreements, and that this idea of divide and rule must not continue. The issue of IPs is no longer news to you. IPs has made everybody in the university community poorer. VCs are paid salaries of drivers, registrars are paid salaries of cleaners, and so on and so forth. What you get today, you don't know what you get tomorrow. And that is why we are challenged. We have come up with our solutions. The U3PS is there. The UTAS is there. We are ready to work together. We will give them the best. We will not continue to rely on foreigners. This is Nigeria. This is our common patrimony. We must come together. We must fight. We must emancipate our people. The universities must come back to work. Our students should go back to classrooms. Our hostels should look decent. In our hostels today, you see 12, 20 students given official accommodation space. This can no longer continue. Gentlemen, the security has become something else. Our people, lecturers, teachers, everybody. No one is safe in the university community. These bandits go into the community, beat people at will, and we have to make do with payment of ransoms. This cannot continue. Distinguished comrades, I call on you. Please support the university. NLC, we say kudos to you. Ayuba, you have done the best. The greatest Nigerian workers! much from SSANU.